Yeah, so I wasn't listening because he was talking about the fact that he needed to go back to the sport and really do a bigger cut and take out a lot of things from that side of my neck and my mouth, even my tongue, and it could affect my speech. So what was of concern to me is that I am a pastor. I speak, I preach to people, and any indication that something could take my speech away was a massive issue for me. Yeah, and even beside the operation, which would involve reconstruction and all that, I also had to undergo radiotherapy and all that. So at that point, when I was leaving that place with my wife, she asked a lot of questions. I had decided that I wasn't going to go for the operation. And my conviction was that God is a healer, and God should be able to heal me. I went home and I was wondering, why should this happen to me in the first place? I'm a child of God. I'm a minister of the gospel. I don't think I was a bad person. And so it was a very challenging moment. But it led me into prayer. I spent a lot of time because they had given me 2 weeks to go and think about it. And during those 2 weeks, I really spent time praying. But I had resolved that I would not allow them to touch me because it could all go wrong. But towards the end of the 2 weeks, the senior pastor of our church, Dr. Ezekiel Alawale, and then Pastor Muyiwa Olubowale, who is the music director and the chairman of the board of trustees, they came to visit me. Pastor Ezekiel is a practicing GP, and Pastor Muyiwa is also a consultant. He actually happened to be a cancer specialist as well, but he does breast. So they came. Now, before he came, they had actually asked for permission to speak with a consultant, which they had done. And they came to me. In fact, when they came, I thought they were going to support my stand, to pray with me, to believe God for a miracle. And I was surprised, to be honest, when they came trying to convince me that I needed to go for the operation. After a very long and difficult discussion, the senior pastor said something very deep. He said that we live in England. If God had not given you the opportunity to come and live here, we probably would not be talking about an operation. Maybe you would have been dead. And God has given you the privilege of having some of the most specialized doctors in the world to sort this thing out. Why not take the opportunity while people of God are ready to pray along with me? And it was then that I switched and I made a decision that I'll go for it. Yeah, so on the day of the operation, I went in, I met a registrar, and when they read to me the full implications of what could happen after I woke up, it was a big thing, and I had to sign, knowing very well that if anything goes wrong, I could not blame anyone. But I signed because I knew that the people of God were praying for me, and I really had the confidence that I'll come out on the right side. So after the operation, when I came around, I saw a nurse standing by me with a lot of tubes all over me. I couldn't do anything, I couldn't talk, I couldn't eat. There was a tube in my tummy where something was being pumped into, and I was just lying there with a nurse fully seated by me all the time. The fact of the point that my recovery was a miracle became very apparent right from day one, because I was meant to be in HDU, high dependency unit, for about 48 hours. After less than 24 hours, I was asked to be moved to the ward. And when I went to the ward and the nurses were coming to see me, the way they were exclaiming that, wow, you look all right. Because people who go through this, by this time, they'll be swelling and they couldn't do anything at all. But I was just there. And the tracheostomy that was put in my throat, through which I was breathing, I was told before the operation that it would last for 2 weeks. After 3 days, they took it out. And then I was meant to be in the ward for 2 weeks. But after 4 days, the doctors told me the recovery was remarkable. And so the next day, I could actually go home. So having to be in the ward for 2 weeks, within 5 days, I was discharged. And my family were able to come to see me. My wife was able to come to see me. My children were able to come to see me. And during that time, I made good friends because they were shocked. One doctor said they were considering that my recovery was being referred to as the best patient outcome because they had never had a recovery as fast as mine. Yes, I learned a lot of things from this experience. The love I experienced from family, from the church, from the leaders of the church was amazing. It was fantastic. During the time, I made some very, very important decisions. Having come this close to death, I made some important decisions, which some of them include the fact that, at the time, my family was scattered. I was in Ghana with some of them, and my wife was here in England, and we decided to bring everyone together. Another decision I made, very significant, is the fact that if God gave me the chance to leave, I was going to dedicate my life to serving Him all the days of my life. It was at that point that I decided to give up my research ambitions. So I made that decision to commit the rest of my life to serving God and to work with people. Today I'm very fulfilled with what I do. And when I see lives being transformed, I give God the praise. And I look at the fact that all these have become possible because it came through a very stormy phase of my life. And how God could use unimaginable circumstances to bring the best out of us. And that's where I am today. And so there was a purpose to what I had to go through. And that's why I wrote a book, The Purpose of the Storm. And if you're interested in knowing more about this story, you can get a copy on Amazon or anywhere else. It will tell you more about how God can use any circumstance in the life of His children to bring something good out of it. My favorite passage is Romans chapter 8, verse 28. In all things, God brings out the good for those who are called according to His purpose and who love Him.